I'm going to be completely honest here. I was wrong about Damiris Dantas. And wrong in a way, but I think there was still logic to the argument that there was no point bringing her. I still don't understand why they got rid of Celeste Taylor, because I'm not going to lie, like Celeste Taylor I still think could do something for this team. But Damiris Dantas showed yesterday she actually has the ability to catch the ball. Before we get on to things, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We're trying to 18.3k subscribers by the end of the day, and we are right now 81 off. But Damiris Dantas, 7 points. 7 points. And you're like, oh, 7 points doesn't mean anything. She didn't miss. And you want to know what the biggest thing is? She hit 2 jump shots. She hit a long 2 and she hit a 3-pointer. And you know what happened on the fast break when she got the ball? She caught it. She caught the ball first time. She's got good hands. And that's the thing with Dantas, is that she's incredibly slow. She's incredibly slow. And that's the big problem, is that you can't have her on the floor at the same time as Aaliyah Boston. You just can't. And Aaliyah Boston plays 35 minutes a game. Cool. If she is to Aaliyah Boston what Erica Wheeler is to Caitlin Clark, as in, if you play Caitlin Clark 35 minutes, play her for 5 minutes, play like Wheeler 5 minutes, and if you play Aaliyah Boston for 35 minutes, play Dantas for 5 minutes. Because unlike a Temi Fagbenle who can play with an Aaliyah Boston, you can't play. They're just too, like, Aaliyah Boston's not unbelievably slow, but she is at the 4. She is with another player who's slower than her. And look, Dantas does not seem to be doing much on defense. She's not going to do too much of the ball. She'll hit some shots, which is actually huge. And you want to know the most impressive thing? She actually looks sharp. Like, this is a team that took 10 games to figure out how to catch the ball. Even more than 10 games to figure out how to catch the ball. Heck, I don't even know what game the Sky game was, where Kelsey Mitchell decided that she was going to like spray her hand or rub her hands in butter before the game. But heck, there was one pass that was such a bad pass, or such a bad like thing that they didn't even give the turnover to Caitlin Clark. When Caitlin Clark threw the ball at Kelsey Mitchell, she just watched as it just went by her. But Damiris Dantas actually seemed sharp. And that's the thing, like, she was fine in her peak. She was fine. She was a vet. But again, what the big problem is that she's one of the quote-unquote, like, WNBA players of old. She is a stretch 4 who can't really move, who's a decent passer, who's good in the good at a high-low action, who was brought in to help Aaliyah Boston. She was brought in to help Erica Wheeler, to help Aaliyah Boston. She was brought in to play maybe that backup power forward role and to run the high-low with Aaliyah Boston. She was there to hit wide open jump shots, and that was basically it. Like, that was what she was there brought in for. And then, obviously, they got Caitlin Clark. And whether it was Lynn Dunn or Christy Sides trying to fit Caitlin Clark into their system, no. It's even the biggest Caitlin Clark hater. Caitlin Clark is the system. You can even say, like, this could be like a Kevin Durant with Steph Curry situation where it's like, oh, but like Steph's not the best player. It's like, no, he's the system. Kevin Durant might be the best player, and at times Aaliyah Boston might be the best player, but Caitlin Clark is the system. And if you don't fit into the Caitlin Clark system, you don't fit in. And that was what I was really worried about with Damiris Dantas. But she is a threat off the pick and pop. She is a threat off the pop. She's a threat in the short corner. She's a threat going to the basket because you throw the ball hard at her and she might catch it. There's the likelihood is she'll catch the ball. And that's why Aaliyah Boston's been so much of a threat, is that she can catch the ball now. But, yeah, so it's coming together for the Fever. And then when we're looking at the rotations yesterday with no Temi Fagbenle, I think she doesn't play every game. I don't think she plays every game. But, like, an ideal scenario, but the problem is that, like, you've only got 80 minutes between Temi, between Boston, between Melissa Smith, and between Dantas. Like, you've only got 80 minutes between those 4 players. And, like, even if you're giving Dantas 5 minutes a game, and she gives you a good 5 minutes, then you've got, let's just say you've got Aaliyah Boston playing 35. Now, what are you going to do with the others? Share the minutes 20 and 20? That's a tough thing to do, especially with how, look, as bad as Melissa Smith is on defense, she's a hell of a rebounder. Which is why I'm so confused about her defense, is that, like, she's not slow. She just looks lost out there on defense. Whereas at least Damiris Dantas doesn't look lost out there. She just can't really move. And that is the big issue, is that you have to, like, make sure that her minutes are staggered. Like, you can play her with Temi. Like, you can probably play her with Temi, because Temi's speed and athleticism will make up for Dantas' lack of it. Because she's a skilled player. You can see that she can play. It's just all about fit. It's all about fit when it comes to these players. And it all just depends on how they fit. And it's not even just how a player fits. It's about how a player fits with the system. And again, as I've said, by the system, I don't mean like an actual system. I mean this player right here. She is the system. She is the system. Everything is built around her. And I just did not know how Damiris Dantas was going to really survive in that system. And it's looking like there is that type of a role. She looks like she could play a much worse version of Aaliyah Boston. Instead of Aaliyah Boston being able, like, because her post footwork is very good. She's a way quicker. She's become so much quicker. If you've been watching from the start of the season to now, Aaliyah Boston is so much quicker. Like, there was a move that she got in the last game where it was like, she did the same thing as she did against the Sun, where she faked the handoff, 2 players jumped at Caitlin Clark and then drove in. And instead of like falling over herself on a Euro step, missing the open layup, she literally goes and like fakes it, drives in, Euro steps around, goes around somebody, easy layup. And I'm like, man, this is a new player. Aaliyah Boston is a new player right now. But when it comes to Dantas, she can offer something similar as far as, like, instead of being a threat going to the basket, she can be the pop threat. She can be a threat in the short roll, because off the short roll, she's going to be open a lot. And she's going to shoot that mid-range shot better than Aaliyah Boston. She shoots it with confidence. So, I don't mind her fit. And look, I was wrong to say she was completely, like, pointless for this team. I was always I'm like, because it's all about fit with Caitlin. I'm like, 1, she's not going to run the floor. 2, she's not really a center. 3, her, like, foot speed, like, she makes day 1 Aaliyah Boston look like Usain Bolt. And that's an issue. That is an issue. But good hands, knows what she's doing on the floor, can shoot the ball. She'll bring something. I still think Victoria Saxton was the player to cut. I don't understand cutting Celeste Taylor. I just still don't. I still think that's the dumbest decision Chrissy Sides has made, is cutting Celeste Taylor. And I think the worst part is that she cuts Celeste Taylor, and then as soon as they lose to the Sky, they fully embrace the 7 seconds or less offense where Celeste Taylor could have been really good. Like, as soon as she cuts Celeste Taylor, they start playing an offense where Celeste Taylor would thrive. But again, it is what it is. So anyway, that is the video. Let me know what you guys think. Were you guys impressed by Dantas? I was really impressed by her yesterday. I thought she looked like she'd won a competition to be an WNBA player in her first game. And even at the start of the game, I know she hit the 3. She sometimes can look lost out there on offense. But you know what? When she looked lost out there with Erica Wheeler on the floor. When Caitlin Clark was on the floor, no, she looked good. She genuinely did look good. And look, she's not going to probably play more than 7 minutes a game this year. But if she can give you 5 good minutes, shoot 2 times a game and hit 1 or 2, that's all you need. That's all you need of a 4th string big man.